Hi, everyone. Welcome to our awesome Honors College webinar. We are so excited for you to just take a little bit of time off out of your night and just learn more about our Honors College. Before we begin, we do have some amazing guests here. We have some current students that are in honors. We have an amazing faculty member, Dr. Mosher. We also have Curtis, our assistant director of the Honors College. And so you guys will get to know them a little bit later. Be thinking of some questions you can ask them a little bit later on. Feel free to utilize that Q&A box, but I'll go ahead and pass it along to Curtis for his presentation.
Hello, everyone. It is so glad to have you all here. Again, my name is Curtis Ozaki, Assistant Director of the Honors College at Azusa Pacific University. And I would love to be able to share my screen so that we can dive in to this overall presentation. As you reflect on the journey of life that you've been on thus far, your 4 years in college will be some of the most foundational years of your life. You know, as you attend Azusa Pacific University, that foundation will be solidified by our 4 cornerstones: Christ, scholarship, community, and service. And it'll become a launching pad to something bigger and better for the rest of your life. You know, students don't just come to Azusa Pacific just to go there, but really to go from APU and joining a legacy of difference makers who are making an impact in every sphere of society, both locally and globally. Throughout your 4 years at Azusa Pacific, you're going to have the opportunity to engage with a variety of different academic programs, your primary major as you connect with various faculty members, community aspects on campus, various events, and even opportunities for missions. But one of the communities on our campus is the Honors College. And I'm excited to be able to share a little bit about what it is all about. In the Honors College, we are dedicated to answering some of life's biggest questions. What is good? Who am I? What is good leadership? And you're going to have the opportunity to engage with a variety of different great texts in one hand and the Word of God in the other, really solidifying what it looks like for you to be able to live the best life. You'll learn from various authors like Aristotle, Socrates, Dante, and Martin Luther King Jr., and so many more. You'll have a lecture on that specific text, and then from that place, you'll engage in a series of discussions that we like to call colloquy. After all of that reflection and robust discussion, you'll be able to write an exegetical commentary, which we'll talk a little bit about later, making connections to the world's greatest needs and your greatest passion vocationally. And whatever you're looking to study, we're wanting to develop you vocationally so that you can be employable after you graduate, but not just be employable, not just be a student, but become a scholar, and not just be a leader, but really a disciple. There are 3 primary components to your experience in the Honors College, as it is a student-centered education. It consists of rigorous curriculum, relevant academia, and relational pedagogy. And really what that looks like when it comes to relational pedagogy is you're going to have the opportunity to engage with these various great texts. For example, we're currently reading the Odyssey and really processing what does the journey of life truly look like. And with the twists and turns of life, what are the various decisions that we need to make, and how do we respond to various crises? We engage with these great texts, now allow them to not just speak not speak for the Honors College, but really speak to the Honors College so that we can engage with these great discussions. Instead of reading books and taking exams, you will have no exams during your time in the Honors College, and really you'll write these exegetical commentaries, really being able to take an area of the text and really analyze it, research it, understand it, and then based off of a specific prompt and some that you'll be able to write on your own, again, connect the world's greatest needs and your great passion in that space. For example, there was one particular student who's an English major and double honors major. She was reading about natural selection and Darwinism, and pondered the question, how has that impacted the publishing industry? And wrote an entire paper around that particular prompt. Relevant academia is another aspect. I mentioned vocational engagement earlier, but you may have had the experience in your AP English classes where you have had the opportunity to be able to engage in Socratic discussions. As you read text, you engage in these discussions that will inform these various papers. Another significant component that allows you to become the leader that God has called you to be, but also be excellent in organizations, wherever you may be, is you'll learn how to engage in public speaking. You'll have the opportunity to work with Dr. Mosher as you'll learn how to speak clean and clear, hate it less, and really liking it is an option, because public speaking could be challenging, but in whatever context that you end up being in, that will be so important. Relational pedagogy is another aspect of the Honors College. Man, we value relationships when it comes to everything that we do in the Honors College. As a living, learning community, we absolutely value the opportunity to connect you with all of the different resources, not just on campus, but so that you can succeed in pursuing a double major in the Honors College. You'll have a rhetoric group that will help you with your papers, with your peers for peer editing. And then you'll have the opportunity to dive into a mentoring program where you'll be developed by other people that have the same major as you. And are devoted to each other's success. I mentioned our value for having a culture of resonators, and really what a resonator is it comes out of this idea from this book called Bandersnatch, which you'll have the opportunity to read during your time in the Honors College. And really, it's a deep study on the community of the Inklings. You're probably thinking, who are the Inklings? They are a community of writers consisting of C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, and so many others. And they would meet and gather, and they were dedicated to showing interest, giving feedback, expressing praise, offering encouragement, and contributing to practical help and promoting each other's work. Man, as you think about your current community during this online reality, man, we are so in need of other resonators. The word resonator comes from a musical term, and what it is the sound that amplifies from the body of an instrument. The body of an instrument is often seen as just what holds the strings together, potentially, if it's a string instrument. And we often think that it is the strings that are amplifying the sound, but it's really the body of the instrument that is amplifying the sound that is taking place. Rather than focusing on individual strings that are making music, the creation of these various instruments focus on the body so that those sounds could resonate. As a community, we are dedicated and coming alongside one another and helping each other resonate and amplify our voices for such a time as this. You know, there's so many different aspects and benefits of the Honors College, but to get really practical, the Honors College really is an opportunity for you to be able to get 2 majors in the span of 4 years. So honors humanities and whatever you plan on studying. In addition to that, your class sizes will be 15 per class with a tutor or a faculty that'll be leading the various discussions that you're in. In addition to that, instead of taking 60 units of general education classes, you'll actually just have to take 48 honors units, and which will essentially provide margin and space for maybe you to focus on your other major, focus on your classes in the Honors College. But for some, it's margin in their schedules to be able to minor in something else, or maybe even triple major. You might get to hear a little bit about that today. Another awesome benefit is, as long as you're in the Honors College, you receive $1,000 every year in the form of an Honors College scholarship. So if you've been admitted into the Honors College, and in addition to that, you've submitted your deposit, you should start to see that $1,000 scholarship showing up as a part of your overall financial aid package. You know, students in the Honors College thrive, man, if they love to read, write, and discuss some of those life's biggest questions. And so who are the kinds of students that end up attending and being a part of the Honors College? We have some kind of requirements for admission into the honors college, but really what they are is they're indicators in hopes to see you succeed in this double major. And so with that being said, some of the benchmarks that we're looking for is a 3.8 GPA, 1250 on the SAT, or a 26 on the ACT, but we're test encouraged or test optional this year. So if you don't have those test scores, that's absolutely okay. We're just looking at your GPA, but our heart is to really just see you thrive. When it comes to students that are interested in the Honors College, we have seen many of our graduates not just, again, receive that $1,000 scholarship, but by the time that they graduate from Azusa Pacific, they'll have the opportunity to become a published author. This is one of the books that was published this last year, and the person who wrote the foreword was Samwise Gamgee from The Lord of the Rings, because this book was a study on the Lord of the Rings, and a variety of different seniors who graduated from the Honors College last year had the opportunity to publish that book. And so imagine going into your organization that you're interviewing for, your dream job, and showing up and they ask you the question, have you ever worked on a team? And you can share with them the process of publishing a book with a group of other leaders and writers. Man, that just speaks to your ability to collaborate, publish something of excellence, and to be able to showcase really a finished product. Many of our students are leaders in high schools and also leader across our campus today and become leaders in organizations. Some of those leaders who've graduated from the Honors College at Azusa Pacific are working in congressional relations in DC, Google, IBM. They serve at one of the best classical Christian educations at Great Hearts Academy, full ride scholarships to a variety of different PhD programs, whether that's medicine, law, or education. We have an alumni named Rachel Roller, who's in pursuit of her PhD in chemistry at Notre Dame. We have another person on a scholarship at UCI, and in addition to that, Pepperdine Law School, and even Yale. And so hopefully that kind of allows you to picture yourself and what life could look like after you graduate and wherever that may be. And so what are some of your overall next steps? I know there are some folks kind of joining in who have already applied. Some have already been admitted or awaiting a decision. If you're admitted, congratulations. Really, really excited for you. Our community just can't wait to get to know you. But if you haven't applied, definitely want to encourage you to do so. And as you learn more through our question time, we hope that you're able to picture what it could look like for you to be a part of our community. And so feel free to scan the QR code, just like scan it on the screen. Really easy application. If you apply for the trustee scholarship, many of your different components will count towards your application. And it'll probably only take 10 minutes to fill that out. But if you had not, that's totally okay. You're going to want to submit the following things that you're seeing on the screen: your name, your address, some references, or your writing sample, and a couple recommendations. And so let's kind of keep that in mind. But hey, this is just the beginning of a conversation. So we can't wait to get to know you in the coming weeks and really the coming months. Some different dates and deadlines that you could be looking forward to in the near future is you should have received an email, or maybe will be receiving an email, or if you want more information, reach out. But man, we have some phone appointment opportunities with some current students, which is exciting. We have some Meet the Honors College events, whether that's with our Dean's Cabinet, current students, as well as faculty members. Well, we have 2 different discussion opportunities to experience a Socratic discussion, or what we like to call colloquy, on friendship and on loving God. And so stay tuned. One of the people that will be leading one of those discussions, Dr. Mosher, who you'll meet in a little bit. And here are some important deadlines when it comes to that regular decision deadline, and then the National Candidates Decision Day on May 1st. And feel free, scan the QR code if you haven't done so already, just to kind of see some of those different events. But man, when you end up going through the entire admissions process, end up seeing if APU is a place that you're going to call home and you'll come on a campus and you'll have the opportunity to be a part of this Candela service. I love this service because it's a reminder that God has called us to be salt and light in the world. Salt adds flavor to our different meals, seasoning to our different meals, and really we want to see you become someone who adds flavor to conversations and light. It illuminates atmospheres. It really changes atmospheres. And our graduates at Azusa Pacific, they change atmospheres. I believe that if you're joining this call, that's probably you as well. And I hope that throughout this time, you're able to just really imagine what it looks like to be in this kind of community who are doing this together. And so we're going to dive into a time of questions and answers led by Bethany Versosa. Really excited about that. But hey, we're on social media. And so feel free to scan this QR code, follow us on social media. You'll see a fun Christmas celebration for some students that have already been admitted into the Honors College. But hey, tomorrow we're going to be sharing a video about what this book publishing process looks like. And we have some really cool student profiles there. And in addition to that, this video of online learning. I mean, that's one of the biggest questions we have right now. What does community look like online? As we don't hope that that's the case when we return in the fall, as we hope to return in the fall. But man, the Honors College has been an incredible community during this time together. And so I hope this is a helpful time for you to get to know us. I'm going to turn it over to Bethany and allow our different panelists to be able to introduce themselves.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Curtis. Well, thank you guys again for joining. You've heard a little bit from Curtis. I think he's an awesome guy. Shared a lot of amazing information about the Honors College. And I want to just get a little bit of time for you guys to be able to get to know these amazing panelists we have. So I'll go ahead and start with Dr. Mosher, then Curtis, then Hannah Brady, and then Tatum. And so if you guys could share a little bit about your background, maybe where you're from, if you're a student, your major and your year, and then Dr. Mosher, you can share what led you to APU. You can also share that as well, Curtis. So Dr. Mosher, go ahead.
Thank you, Bethany. And thank you everyone for being here tonight. It's lovely to spend part of our evening together with you, telling you guys about this community that we've all come to value and love so much. My name is Dr. Mosher. I am actually a new faculty to the Honors College. I just arrived this year. I'm a theologian by training, so I get to spend my days and my nights pondering the mysteries of God and of faith, and then getting to talk with brilliant students about it, which is maybe the greatest privilege of my life. Prior to coming to APU, I taught theology for 7 years at Loyola University in Baltimore, Maryland. So I am from the East Coast and adjusting to the West Coast lifestyle. It was 85 degrees this week, which is very new for me for January. But what brought me to APU was I just fell in love with the program, the curriculum, the students, the other faculty members. I felt at home the moment I got here. I sat at lunch with Curtis during my interview, and Curtis, much like he just did, sang the praises of this curriculum and this program, and I thought, I can't not be a part of this. And so that's why I'm here. And it has been a joy, even in the strange year, to begin partnering with these students, with Curtis, with other faculty members, to be part of this wonderful community. So I hope that you guys will join us.
Awesome. Go ahead, Curtis.
Again, my name is Curtis Ozaki, Assistant Director of the Honors College, and I get to do a lot of different things, but as a snapshot, I have the opportunity to journey with students into Azusa Pacific as they are here at APU and as they go from APU.
My name is Hannah Kirschmeyer. I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, and I'm a biochemistry major.
Hi guys, thanks for joining us. My name is Brady Compon. I'm a freshman. I live in Waconia, Minnesota, so I often like to make fun of Dr. M and the vast difference in weather. It's currently 7 degrees here, and we got 2 inches of snow this morning. And I am a triple major, and so my majors are honors humanities, business management, and Spanish.
My name is Tatum. I am from the Pacific Northwest. I'm from Seattle, and I'm also a freshman, and I'm majoring in psychology.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for introducing yourselves. Just wanted to remind you, if you are here attending, feel free to utilize that Q&A box. We would love to answer your questions live. I see a few have already popped in there, so way to go. Keep going ahead and inputting those questions, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. So I do want to start us off with one of the questions. And so we have one that says, why did you choose to attend APU and the Honors College? So Brady, I'd love for you to answer that, and then Tatum, you can follow him.
Yeah, of course. So the biggest reason that I chose APU was actually because of the Honors College. I wouldn't have gone to APU if it wasn't for the Honors College. And that's because I've always been very intellectually driven, and I've always been super curious about God. And I grew up in the church, so I've always had like knowledge about God in Sunday school and such, but they'd never really combined for me. And the APU Honors College is the place where I get to take all of this stuff that I learn in school and put it through a Christian worldview and combine them. And the chance to read these amazing texts, like we just finished reading the Odyssey and we're still talking about it. To look at the Odyssey in this ancient Greek text through the lens of Jesus just blows my mind every time. And the chance to learn from the theologians like Dr. M and the knowledge that he can teach us about both the Christian side of it and then the pagan side and how they interact with each other is what drew me to the Honors College. And I always say this, in the Honors College, Curtis said it is a living, learning community. So we get to live in the dorm that has the bathroom suites. So you don't have to use a communal bathroom. So that's a huge perk.
Similar to Brady, I know that the honors program is really what just solidified that I wanted to be at APU. For me, I have always been very academically driven, but I didn't know that an honors program was even in my future, because when I thought about what a typical honors program might look like, I just thought about like competitive, like academics. And instead of having a competitive environment here, we actually partner together to grow in our faith and grow in who we are and how we understand the world. And it's so cool because even through an online environment, I've been able to grow so much this past semester just by talking with Dr. Mosher, was also my colloquy tutor for this past semester. And through talking to him and just everybody else in the classroom, I've watched my faith grow so much. And I think that's one of the biggest promises of the Honors College, is that regardless of where you are in your journey with God or in what you believe, you're going to be really widely just accepted and just loved. And as we go through these texts, you're going to have questions asked that are just going to like blow your mind, and it's challenging, but it's so much fun too, just to hear everybody's perspectives. So I'm really happy that I made the choice, and I hope that you guys are starting to get excited about it too, because it's a really special program, and APU is a great.
Awesome. Thank you guys for answering that. I'm seeing a few questions here about workload. And I know this is probably something that's going through every applicant's mind of, okay, how can I do honors? What is it going to look like on a weekly basis with my schedule? What if I'm a nursing major? What if I want a triple major like Brady? How am I going to merge those two separate fields of study into one? What does that look like? So I would love if Hannah, if you could speak to that, and then Brady as well, if you guys can both speak to kind of the workload of honors, what that was like. And then Brady, we have a specific question about what it's like being a triple major. So.
Yeah, so the honors program is a 6-credit course. which means that you are expected to have 6 hours of class time each week, and then about 12 hours of homework outside of class each week is pretty standard. And I would say that the Honors College is about 18 hours of work each week with those things combined. It's a very typical 6-credit college course. I think it can be slightly more if you take a little bit longer to read or to write. If you really like to think out your essays, I think it can take slightly more. For me, there are weeks where it's slightly less. I just breeze through the reading. I understand it on my first try. So I think it really varies. You probably know yourself. And I would say the workload is pretty manageable. I'm a biochemistry major, as I said, and science majors are tough. But last semester and this semester, I was even able to take an additional 3-credit course alongside my biochemistry requirements and my honors requirements, just because I felt like I had the time. So I definitely think if you are good at time management and you know how to just kind of work a 9 to 5, that's what I do. I work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that's usually enough to get all my work done. So I still have time to like go for runs. I still have time to hang out with my friends, eat dinner with my family. So I think it's totally manageable if you're willing to kind of put in the work, work hard, play hard.
Yeah, and what Hannah said about it being a 6-credit course, in some ways it makes the workload easier because then you only have to take 4 classes to get to your 15, 16-ish credits. But it's also weird because then it's twice the work of a normal class. So it, like she said, it fits the 18 hours a week about. And as for the triple major, for me, it worked nicely because I took a college level Spanish course my senior year of high school. And so I already had some Spanish credits coming in, and Spanish is already a pretty low credit major. But I don't think I get to take any electives in my 4 years at APU. I'll still be able to graduate in 4 years, which I'm thrilled about. But because I have to do all of the classes for business management, all the classes for Spanish, all the classes for honors, it fits very nicely. And what Curtis said about how the honors curriculum is less credits than the GE credits, it does give you a lot more flexibility in that, but it definitely depends on what your majors are. For me, it worked because Spanish is a very low unit major, but definitely talk to your admissions counselor about what majors you're thinking about and look in the catalog at how many credits they require.
Perfect. And while we're on the subject of classes, I do see a few questions here about AP credits from high school and how that works with the Honors College. And I also see a few questions about dual enrollment classes as well. So I'll speak to dual enrollment. We have lots of students that do dual enrollment, lots of students that do honors as well. And so Curtis, do you want to talk to kind of the AP side of things with the honor students here?
Yeah, so once you submit your various transcripts, to your admissions team and the different official score reports, we'll be able to review all of your transferable credits and create you a personalized honors and whatever your major is. We don't have a triple major one. Brady's one of maybe 3 people who've done that or 4 people who've done that or are doing that currently. But we will try to personalize an academic advising map just for you. So that's one of the benefits about being in the Honors College. You'll have the opportunity to work with Rhonda Roberts and an amazing team of people that work intentionally even up to this point. And so once you submit your deposit and enroll and secure spot in the honors, we'll start to have some more of those class registration questions. And when it comes to the AP credit, it really just depends on which particular classes work and what your overall track is and what's required for your major. But if you are double majoring in honors and business or psychology or whatever that may be, those AP classes or any of those dual enrollment classes, if you're from Washington, maybe you have 30 or 60 doing Running Start. I've worked a lot with them. You'll actually have all those units count towards your 120 graduation rate. And so having worked with a lot of students with a lot of units, absolutely don't worry. We have a team of people that will support you alongside your admissions counselor in figuring out those specific details. So if you have any questions, email apuhonors@apu.edu. And if that's a part of the decision-making process, hey, we want to help you. We want to help you. But no, those AP classes, those dual enrollment classes, they're going to count for something because you've been working so hard when it comes to that. And so we want to be able to come alongside you and celebrate that success.
Awesome. Thank you, Curtis. Okay, I have a question for Dr. Mosher here. What does it mean to you to integrate your faith into your work and or what you're teaching?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, it begins for me with the fact that when I get my class rosters with my students' names and their pictures, I print them out and I start praying for them every night. And that continues. And I'm still praying for my students from last semester. I'm praying for my new students this semester. And so I want the entire academic experience to kind of be bookended with prayer. But then when we get into the classroom, I think we encounter these great books and they kind of become like mirrors in which we start to see ourselves reflected back in them, in their very kind of strange and often foreign, culturally foreign, historically foreign ways. We start to find that as we study them and ask them big questions, they're asking us big questions back. And they invite us to think about our faith and to ask ourselves big questions about our faith that perhaps we wouldn't have asked before if we were reading books that were published in the last 5 years, that were published by people with whom we just automatically agree. We're encountering strange books, and we're encountering these strange books together as a collection of believers and learners, and we're on this journey together with our authors to think more deeply about who God is, how God is, who we are as people. What does it look like to live well in the story that God has been weaving throughout history? How do we enact justice in a way that is faithful to the person and the character of Christ? So we have this kind of fascinating double movement of having to understand these texts on their terms and then bring them into conversation with our terms. And that's as I'm sure some of the students here can testify, that can be an exciting and also a challenging experience. But the reflection that I've seen from students and then my own growth as a perpetual student is that my faith is deeper and richer and more thoughtful. I am a better Christian for having wrestled with the kind of text that we get to wrestle with in the Honors College.
Love that. I love that answer. Next question, kind of along that line. I just wanted to ask our current students, just because as an admissions counselor myself, I know a lot of people are probably wondering, okay, yes, I want to deepen my faith. Yes, I want to do honors, but online, what does that look like, right? What does that look like to have friends, to meet new people, to build community, start college online? So I would love to be able to ask Brady, Hannah, and then Tatum, how has APU's online community supported you as a holistic student this semester?
Yeah, of course. That's a really good question and really important one right now. APU has done a lot of different things to try to foster community, and some have been successful, some have been not so successful. But for me, where I have found the most community is in the Honors College. And with the small class size of the colloquy, it is very personal and it feels like a family. I know everybody in my colloquy from last semester. I have their phone number. We have way too many group chats. I know where they all live. I know what they're like. I know them like my brothers and sisters now, and I've never even met them in person. And that is so amazing that we can still foster that community and we can meet so often on Zoom and truly understand each other. And then another thing that's been really good for community for me is the mentor groups that Curtis briefly mentioned them. And it's 3 to 4 people that have the same major as you in the Honors College. So mine was actually who was going to be my roommate, and then another person that grew up in the same town as me. And we were partnered with a junior who's also a business major. And we met every week, and sometimes we played Pictionary. We watched Netflix together a couple times, and we just hung out. And now we've never even met in person, and we're all really good friends. So all in all, the Honors College has been the biggest source of community for me.
Yeah, same for me. I could sing the praises of the Honors College community for hours. It's been incredible. I have friends who are at the local community college with all asynchronous classes, feeling super isolated. And that's just not how I've felt at all. I had Dr. Mosher last semester. He reached out to email me multiple times, just asking like how I was doing. If I brought up something in colloquy, he would email me again a day later and just check up on me. He made it very obvious that he cared about his students and that he listened when we were talking. And all the colloquy tutors and professors here are the same way. They're just incredible and encouraging and pointing me to Christ all the time. And then friends-wise too, my other peers in the Honors College have been amazing. I know Curtis has been very technologically savvy, trying to set up Zoom calls. He set up a Discord server. He's been really trying to make things work. And I definitely would say it's worked. And even just the people in the Honors College are just incredible. So many of them reach out to each other and just make group chats on their own. Like my first day of colloquy last semester, a girl just messaged me and was like, "Hey, I really liked that book you said that you read this summer, and like I would love to FaceTime you sometime." And she's like now one of my best friends at APU. We talk every day. And so I just think the people are just amazing, so welcoming. And our colloquy last semester even played Among Us together several times with Dr. Mosher. So we still had a lot of fun together. We still keep in touch. Yeah, I could go on and on, but it's amazing. I feel like I've made so many friends, weirdly even over Zoom, which is, I think, just a testament to how special the Honors College is.
Before I also just jump on the train of just why honors is a really great place to be, another opportunity that APU has is this thing called D groups. And it's like a little Bible study, and it's actually led by upperclassmen that are that have been to APU and have actually had the experience of what being on campus looks like. And so what's so cool with that is that it's just a group for me of 4 girls plus my D group leader. And just every week, every Monday night, it's wherever it fits in your schedule when you join a D group, we just get to sit down and go through the Bible together. And it's the exact same Bible study that people across APU are participating in. So what's been so cool about that is as I've been making more friends, we can actually connect about what's been happening in our separate D groups. And then in addition to the mentors that Brady was talking about, I also then have someone who's, whether they're sophomore, junior, or senior leading a D group, they actually can then help me for eventually when we do make that transition back to campus. So there's a lot of different opportunities to just not only make friends with those in your class, but there's so many students at APU who really, especially for us as the class of 2024, feel and empathize with kind of how hard it is to not be on campus, and that are really excited to help us make that transition when we do. So it's a very supportive community. In addition to that, exactly what Brady and Hannah have said, the texts that we read really set up in depth and very personal conversations. And within the exact same time in colloquy, we can start off laughing, whether it's because of a really bad joke Dr. Mosher made, or just the flow of the class. And we can also have really emotional moments that feel really vulnerable in the middle. And that's just the setup of what the Honors College and what colloquy really looks like. So it's a great program. It's just the nature of it and what we're discussing brings really deep connections really quickly. So just the idea, I'm so excited to meet Brady and Hannah, whether that's in the fall or the spring of next year, because I feel like I know them, which is so cool. So I would really encourage you, if that's something that you're worried about in the coming year, because there is a lot of uncertainty about what it looks like, there are so many opportunities and ways to get support, and the honors program is definitely one of the best.
So you've heard a lot about what online community looks like, and man, I remember journeying with Brady, Hannah, and Tatum this time last year, and some of the people even mentioned not by name. And you're in the exact same situation. You know, we are all believing with great hope and expectation that we're going to be back in the fall, right? And we're preparing for it, absolutely. And you're going to get to talk with your admissions counselor and journey with them throughout the journey as well. And you know, I want to just kind of paint a picture of what being on campus will actually look like. You know, imagine just waking up in the honors college floors and or in another dorm, and you're journeying, you're going on the trolley, you're hopping in the classroom, and you're talking about the journey that Odysseus went on, and you're reminded what it was like during this exact same time, figuring out what you were going to do. We talked about friendship, like what is friendship during this online community space? We talked about so many different topics, but man, in person, you're not just gonna have to just stay in that colloquy. You're gonna go to lunch after, grabbing coffee with someone after, continuing that conversation. And then maybe later that night, shooting around, playing basketball, and continuing to just live life together. Study parties in the hall. I love that Tatum mentioned discipleship groups, things like that. But you know, instead of those conversations over emails with Dr. Mosher, you're gonna have the opportunity to grab lunch with them. You know, faculty members love spending time with students, but man, we have done an incredible job in the Honors College Online, and fun events, fireside chats. Maybe we'll be on campus with an actual fire, talking about just life and things. I mean, what we've been doing is we've been connecting, collaborating, having significant conversations, gaining clarity in who we are, whose we are as a child of God. And we have been believing with hope and faith that we are going to come home and be together at APU again, just like Odysseus did when he was trying to come back home amidst his odyssey. And so we're excited to be on the Odyssey with you and the craziness of the college admissions journey. But man, your admissions counselors will be your best resource in sharing with you those life on campus stories. I mean, they have so many. I've worked with some of them. I've lived life with some of them. And so definitely lean on those conversations to imagine what that will be like for you, because APU is amazing online for us. But man, it is just as incredible in person. And there aren't too many colleges that are like that.
Wow, that leads me perfectly into my next question, Curtis. How is the Honors College at APU different from those at other colleges? So Curtis, I'd love for you to share. And then Dr. Mosher, if you have kind of, you know, what led you to APU's Honors College? I know you mentioned that a little before.
So specifically at Azusa Pacific University, we pride ourselves of being a premier Christian university for the times that we live in today. I mean, as you're just reflecting on the different challenges that you face throughout COVID-19, and even prior to that, man, life is not meant to be alone. And you cannot get away from a smile and an authentic conversation throughout your time at APU. And man, you'll also have incredible, beautiful spaces on campus to reflect and journal and be intentional after chapel as well, or even before it. What sets Azusa Pacific apart? There's a person who started a campus ministry, and he shared about 7 cultural mountains, just to name a few of them, because we can't go into all of them. One of them is business, another government, another religion, and another healthcare. And these 7 cultural mountains run society that we know today. At Azusa Pacific University, you're going to be intentionally developed to be able to engage with all 7 of those different cultural mountains as you're living life together with people, becoming experts in all those different fields. But you'll learn how to master what it looks like to be a great business owner with great business ethics after studying some of these great texts. You'll be able to connect that philosophy and your aim, or what we like to call telos, and add to the habits that you are living your life with, the habits of the heart and the habits of the mind. And you don't just come to APU as a student. A lot of state schools, a lot of private schools are just, looking to develop you to be a student. Like, we are intentional about you becoming a scholar, and we're intentional about you not just being a leader, but a disciple and a citizen for these days. And so again, we pride ourselves on being a premier Christian university across the nation and across the world. And we're doing a pretty good job. And so what sets us apart is absolutely our academics, but the student life integrates so that you can be a holistically, vocationally engaged individual. And so we're excited about that. We're really excited about that.
Picking up on what Curtis just said, APU's Honors College is the 4th honors program that I've been a part of professionally, and they've all been wonderful. So I haven't had bad experiences, but APU's Honors College has really risen above my other experiences. And there are a couple of things that really set it apart. The first thing, and this goes back to something Tatum said earlier, I have been in honors programs that are very competitive and that aren't built around friendship, intellectual friendship, spiritual friendship, friendships of just enjoyment and play. But APU's Honors College is really built around the idea of friendship and collaboration. And I have seen how much students and faculty benefit from that. I don't have experiences of students trying to put other students in their place. They're trying to help each other learn and to be better writers, better thinkers, more faithful disciples of Christ. And that is a beautiful thing. The other thing that really stands out as a distinctive about APU's Honors College is the intentional mentorship. There's mentorship between faculty and staff towards the students about writing, about public speaking, which we've already heard a little bit about, but also just about faith, about life, relationships. I mean, there is a clear dedication on behalf of the faculty to educating in as holistic a way as possible, because there's a deep-seated love of learning, of education, and love for our students that the faculty have. And I haven't experienced it to this degree in my previous honors programs. So those would be the two things that really make APU's Honors College stand above other really wonderful experiences in other programs.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Curtis and Dr. Mosher. All right, so we do have a question here in the Q&A. We have a question about living as an honors student. So we have it says, I understand that honors freshmen live on the same floor. Is it possible to dorm with someone that isn't a part of the honors college when you're in honors college? So Hannah, I'd love for you to speak to that, and then Tatum also.
Yeah, so you are definitely able to room with someone who is not in the honors college. It's not like you're being forced to live on the honors floor or forced to have an honors roommate. You definitely can room with whoever you want. And maybe Curtis, I'm sorry if I interrupted you. But you also can, but you can, I don't know if you can live on the honors floor, but you can live on a floor above the honors floor with someone who's not an honors major, I know for sure.
I feel like Curtis is probably better equipped for this one, so I'll pass it off to him.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. And that was honestly a great answer, Anna. Absolutely. So you don't have to live in the honors college housing. However, it is highly recommended. As we are trying to recreate like the Oxford style experience of learning, like the Inklings experience of collaboration, working together, editing papers, living life together, grabbing coffee together, being able to do that in the dorms is fantastic. Well, if the question that you're really asking is, man, I know some folks in my AP and honors classes and don't know if I totally connect with them. I want you to know that the honors students in the honors college are just an incredibly diverse group of leaders. And man, you're not going to be weirded out living in the honors college dorms. Fantastic individuals that you'll get to live life with, but to integrate your life in the day to day. There are so many opportunities to connect with people not in honors, that are in your different classes, living in your different floors. But to go back to the question again, highly recommended that you live together. It's a part of the overall honors college experience. But if you're looking to opt out to that, we can have a conversation. It's absolutely no problem. But again, highly encouraged for the overall experience. And it doesn't exist across universities. And so we highly encourage it. But there are other opportunities, absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, we have a question from Julia. How does the classroom foster space for quieter students? So Dr. M, go ahead and take that away.
Yeah, I love this question because I was a very quiet student, very quiet. I never spoke in class. And so as a professor now, I'm always very attuned to quiet students. And I think we want to give quiet students space to be who they are. You don't have to become somebody else in order to succeed in the honors college, but we do also want you to grow. And so we want to create spaces for you to feel safe to push yourself a little bit. But one of the great things about having a smaller program like we are is your faculty get to know you and your classmates get to know you. And so as a faculty member, I will pick up on, oh, here's a student who's not speaking in class, but they are just as participating as the more vocal people, because I see how their eyes are moving, or I see how annotated their books are, or I can see them deliberating. And so you're in a community that gets to know how you work and how you succeed as a student. So there will be opportunities and occasions for you to grow and to push yourself, but this is an environment that is inviting and hospitable, and I would like to think safe for you to be the kind of student that you are. So you shouldn't worry about it. I don't think you should worry about it.
Great, thank you, Dr. M. Okay, so we do have a few minutes left. And so I just wanted to ask kind of like a final question if no other questions come up, but I thought this was a good one. How does the Honors College collectively prepare students to succeed in postgrad when they're all studying different things? Okay, so maybe Curtis and then Dr. M, you guys can talk to the postgrad experience, how honors is preparing students, and why you think that they're going to be leaders and equipped as leaders in the real world after college. Oh, Curtis, can you answer that question?
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about these texts and the conversations, but the relationships that you have with your professors that become the recommendations for getting that full ride scholarship, that research grant, that medical school, that law school, that dream school that you have that's coming to your mind right now, man, they're gonna fight for you to get in there. In fact, the scholarship that they have produced puts them in a good position to even recommend you. Again, we have a diversity of different students coming from different places with different pursuits. Now imagine you're a business person and then you have a friend who's a graphic designer, and then you have someone who is a Spanish major and then an English major. Imagine collaborating together to write a book in Spanish. Oh wait, you partnered with a Christian ministries person and it's a devotional. and it becomes published and is able to be sold on Amazon right now. It's called Clay in the Potter's Hands. It was all published with Dr. Glyer in the Honors College. And there is this collaboration that you don't actually get to experience necessarily on campus if you're just in the singular program, having to find the graphic designer, having to find this person and that person. But as you're talking about friendship, as you're diving into Nicomachean ethics and Aristotle, you're already having those vocational conversations, talking about each other's dreams, talking about purpose, and you're working together on these papers and wanting each other to succeed. It's your community that's going to allow you to be successful after you graduate and maybe have the connections to get into the different jobs alongside your professionals, your professors, and an amazing alumni network. We have an amazing alumni network, ranked top 25 in the nation for the best universities, according to our alumni. Amazing. And that's the network that you get to partner with who are looking for difference makers in their spheres of influence.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Curtis, for answering that. And again, thank you all so much for joining us. We are so blessed to be able to share a little bit about honors with you today. And I mean, I think honors is awesome. After this, how could you not think honors is awesome? If you guys have any other questions, just feel free to reach out. You can always look on our website. Curtis, if you want to drop a few links, you can right now for them to kind of open up. But as far as any other admissions questions, we do have an admissions email in the chat right now. If you have questions about your application or anything, I'd love to be able to help with that. But again, thank you so much for just joining us and learning more about honors. And there we go. We have another page here for a virtual tour link. You guys can sign up. We have current students leading tours on Zoom, which is fantastic. And again, thank you so much. And we'll see you next time, hopefully on campus. Bye, everyone.